When Todd Blanche spent nearly 5 hours before the Senate Judiciary Committee this week seeking confirmation as the next U.S. Attorney General, one exchange captured the central question hanging over his nomination.
Are you and President Trump friends?
I'm his lawyer, was his lawyer, and now I'm the Deputy Attorney General.
Whether you consider that a simple slip of the tongue or a rare moment of truth from Blanche, it was a theme picked up the following day by one of the Democratic witnesses opposing his confirmation.
To the American public, it looks like Mr. Blanche is running DOJ as Donald Trump's personal law firm. He is using law enforcement powers to pursue petty grudges harbored by the president. These pointless vendettas are wasting our scarce resources and destroying DOJ's credibility.
The concern isn't limited to Democrats. While Blanche's confirmation could hinge on Republican Senators Thom Tillis and John Cornyn, Cornyn has publicly acknowledged the challenge posed by Blanche's close relationship with the president. As the New York Times reported, Cornyn appeared skeptical about Blanche's capacity to balance the department's needs with the president's demands. Cornyn told reporters, it's a very difficult position to be in, to be the president's personal lawyer and then to end up being a member of the cabinet. Joining us now is Democratic Senator Peter Welch of Vermont. He is a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator, thank you for joining us. Before we get to the Justice Department and Todd Blanche, I do want to ask you about the situation in the Middle East. We just this morning have found out that Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain again activated air defenses Sunday morning as they warned of incoming Iranian drones and missiles. Israel has also warned that Iran missiles were launched toward neighboring Jordan could cause fire to spill over into its territory for the first time since fighting reignited. And as you saw just there, 2 U.S. service members have been killed and one is currently missing. This is an escalating situation. What's your response to what we're seeing?
Well, it's out of control. And the fact is the president got us into a unilateral war. He had the usual chutzpah and overreach that has characterized Iraq and Afghanistan. We had to beat 2 bombers, and then we were met with asymmetric response with closing of the Strait of Hormuz. And it's escalating, and the president's not in control, and he's flailing around. It's extraordinarily dangerous. And that is why every single Democratic vote voted against the National Defense Authorization Bill, because we have to have a discuss. We got to end this war, and the president is absolutely out of control on this.
You know, there are a lot more questions than answered this morning as things seem to ratchet up. But moving to the DOJ, you were there questioning the likely next Attorney General of the United States. And I'm curious, you know, John Cornyn and Thom Tillis, both were, you know, kind of holding their votes a little bit. Thom Tillis seems to back off. One of the things I think we have talked about at this table is that we don't believe in the YOLO caucus. We don't believe that these Republican senators, even those that lost their jobs because of Donald Trump, or the members of Congress who have done the same, are going to stand up to him in any significant way. You talk to these folks, you know these guys. When you think about what this vote in the committee is going to, how that's going to shake out, and on the floor, is there any reason for anybody to believe that they're actually going to stand up, whether it be on the $1.776 billion fund that may or may not exist, or on the Epstein issue?
Well, you know, you're getting to the heart of what is actually making me very sad as a senator. Many of my Republican colleagues I have a good deal of respect for, but we have independent responsibilities, including advice and consent, including whether we should or shouldn't go to war, including the taxing authority and the spending authority. And many of my Republican colleagues are essentially outsourcing that authority to the president. And the advice and consent, I'm very concerned about this. You couldn't have a clearer case of a person not qualified to be the Attorney General than Todd Blanche. His comment is what is the truth. He's the president's lawyer. And the Attorney General, no matter how close he or she is to the president, has to be the people's lawyer. He has to have his loyalty first and foremost to the Constitution. Blanche does not have that. My colleagues know that, and we've got a responsibility, but we have to have some Republican colleagues to join us in saying no to Blanche.
Secretary Welch, I want to play for everyone the questioning between Senator Cornyn and Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche on the weaponization fund. Watch this.
You have said that the weaponization fund is a moot issue. Is that your position?
Yes, it is a moot issue, meaning there is no weaponization fund. The weaponization fund is dead. It's not moving forward.
Is the settlement agreement enforceable as a contract by the parties?
Well, yes, it's an enforceable document. So I suppose if President Trump's counsel sought to enforce it, they potentially could.
Including the weaponization fund?
Well, they could try to enforce the contract.
Now, Senator, I misspoke. It's not Secretary Cornyn. It is Senator Cornyn. But the point of showing that is at the top of it, he says that the weaponization fund is dead. But by the end, he says, well, yeah, no, actually, it's not dead. Because if you enforce the terms of the contract, the weaponization fund is in the contract. Are you secure in the knowledge that the weaponization fund is dead, as Blanche says it is?
I am secure in the knowledge that the weaponization fund is not dead. That is exactly what Senator Cornyn's questioning revealed very, very clearly. And by the way, in addition to the weaponization fund, there's the tax immunity. I mean, it is astonishing that our president made $2.2 billion in his first year in office. And included in that agreement that Todd Blanche negotiated on behalf of his client was a waiver of tax liability for anything that Donald Trump or any of his family members owe. So that is an astonishing thing for Todd Blanche to have been involved in, because it is a clear conflict of interest. You know, he made $9 million from Donald Trump directly for representing Donald Trump in his many criminal cases. So you've got a person who is the lawyer for Donald Trump, supposedly representing all of us to protect our constitutional rights.
Wow, $9 million. He's notorious for not paying for services rendered. So good on Todd Blanche, at least on that, if he actually got paid. Senator Peter Welch, thank you very much for coming to the weekend.